What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Spandau Ballet. And we're now going to the next studio album, which is called Diamonds, 1982. And the first track has a very interesting and partly parenthetical name, which is to say, Chant No. 1, I Don't Need This Pressure On. So it feels a bit dichotomous or disconnected, which is to say, Chant No. 1 would make me think a very conceptual tune, perhaps one that has vocals that are in some way reminiscent of what we might call Western chant music. The Gregorian chant, I think, is the variant most often referred to, in like popular circles. But ultimately, if it was just Chant No. 1, I would think maybe instrumental or at least non-lyrical vocal track, but perhaps filtered through an electronic or synth pop idiom. But I Don't Need This Pressure On gives you a very different sense. It feels stressful. It feels like someone who is exasperated and feeling like there's some pressure or some stress that is causing them even greater problems than they would otherwise have. So Chant No. 1, I suppose it could be in some way an attempt to focus one's mental energy amidst some pressure or stress, but I feel like that's really running in a speculative direction. So I'll just say that it's a really interesting title, but one where it feels like it's pulling in different directions and ultimately gives me different suggestions. So it's an interesting inclusion of the parenthetical, which to my mind changes what I might expect if it was just the first part of the title. So let's find out. This is Spandau Ballet, the first tune on their 1982 album, Diamonds, and it's called Chant No. 1, I Don't Need This Pressure On. That the sensation you have is false. It has a real dance floor feel to it. Like those brass hits. Jazzy kind of sense. Oof. Little trumpet. That little, it's like it shifts the percussion scheme just for the last very like smooth and groovy, but by the end there's a lot happening. It's very frenetic. I don't know how a tune can be smooth and frenetic, but somehow that track managed it. Yeah, really cool opener. A bit different flavor that I was getting on Journeys to Glory, but ultimately I enjoyed that a lot. Like I said, it had an intensity to it, but it was also very dance floor and groovy and smooth. And yeah, I didn't catch all the lines. Again, some of the singing, it's done in that way where it's sort of, you know, the way it's he's going through some of the words and the lines, it makes it a bit harder for me to pick up everything. But yeah, ultimately, I'm intrigued as to the meaning still. But yeah, I didn't pick up enough to really get a full sense of it. So I would say though, it does, like I said, have a bit different feel than Journeys to Glory. So I'll be interested to see if this is, you know, if that is more related to this tune specifically, or if the overall album really does begin to go in a different direction than we had with the Journeys to Glory album. So once again, shout out to all the people who followed the Spandau reaction so far. I know they haven't been super regular. Once again, I've just started so many deep dives. It only became apparent to me, you know, last few weeks, like how difficult it is to regularly go through all the ones that I've started, and inevitably there are some that slip through, but when I remember, I try to get them, you know, to the top of the list as quickly as I can. So we'll continue to go through Spandau Ballet, and once again, shout out to all those who've commented and to those sharing music with me. And at this point, Luca, I've delayed long enough. I can't delay anymore. I am going to have to pick you up. And I think we're good. Yep, transition successful. So let me know what you think. I will see you next time. Peace.